beautiful soul dancer, the white dragon here. Don't my eyebrows look like two caterpillars? I think I overdid it this morning. Alright, so here, today is the Day of the Dead, celebrated in Mexico. I think that is so fascinating, so fantastic. So, here's a story. True. It happened to me. I'm living up in the mountains with my brother. And every morning I have to wake until the sun is bright, which means 6:30. All right, in order to walk down the hill. I say hill. We interchange them, right? Hill and mountain. It's really the base of a mountain. Why do I have to wait until the sun is out and it's warm? Because snakes live in the trees. Every night you hear a particular snake fall, boot up, and hit the ground. It sounds almost like a pumpkin falling, but heavier, with no splash. And of course, the scorpions and the tarantulas, they have to go back to their various holes and crevices. Okay. So, keeping in mind, because it's wild, it's really what we call bush. And this particular night, they weren't home, so I said, I will take a taxi. I'm not waiting, and I'll meet you all at the house because I didn't have a key. So I wait a long time for a taxi. I get one. I get to the place. I walk in like a quarter of a mile. The dogs run down to greet me. And then I just sit outside. Now it's dusk. Dusk is falling. Okay? And in the mountains, I discovered it gets dark pretty quick. So, okay. So I'm sitting outside with the dogs. And I'm just gazing because you know what's so gorgeous? When you are on a mountain, the sky seems close and the stars seem even closer, as if you could just reach up and grab one. I love it. They literally are pinpoints of light in the sky. Beautiful. It's all right. So I'm gazing up and I'm looking around and really admiring. And then I lower my head back down and I'm looking at the dogs and just enjoying, because it's just barely bright. Okay? The sun has almost sunken past the horizon. And then I noticed, coming out of the woods in front of me, a white figure. This white figure is dressed all in white. That's why I say white. I mean, filmy white clothes, and the breeze is blowing it. By the way, there was no wind, there was no breeze, nothing. But the breeze is blowing it exactly as you see in horror movies. Notice that sound. Okay, we set in the ambience. So now I'm really looking. My first reaction was to look at the dogs. No reaction. So that told me that there was nothing to be afraid of. There was no negative energy, because they are the protectors of the property, and it's a lot of dogs. Okay, so I continue staring at this thing. It's so obviously confident. It walks directly out of the trees, out of the forest, past the tree line. It comes into the clearing. It's walking straight, direct, as if it's coming towards me. I'm not seeing its face at all. Everything is just white, flowing, sort of whatever it is. And just as it gets to the property, the house, the line with the house, that's what I should say, it suddenly does this and looks at me. It did not sense my presence before. I'm saying it because I don't know if it was a he or a she or really an it. It was an it. It stares at me. I stare at it. I look at the dogs. I look at it. It stands there staring at me. Then it does this. Straightens its head back in the direction it's going. And it continues along its path, this time behind the house. Now after it has passed, I get nervous. So I turn on my phone light to shine it under the house because the house is built on stilts. I don't know why it's built on stilts. Please don't ask. Okay, it's a wooden house built on stilts. So there's a space, a crawl space underneath. Okay, so I'm shining the light underneath now because I don't know what to think, where it's gone. And I immediately start thinking, oh my God, suppose it crawls under the house and gets to me. All this nonsense. I'm not a scaredy cat. Huh? I leave it. I forget it after a while. And I never see it again. Beautiful souls, listen to this carefully. I love this story because it happened to me. I have read stories which are pretty scary about similar things, heard similar things, but you see, the Caribbean is a very, very spiritual place, and there are lots of things unseen or sometimes seen but unknown. And this is simply what I want to bring to your attention today on the Day of the Dead. Don't poo-poo things that people tell you or that children tell you that they see. They do exist. That's the bottom line. We don't have to understand it. I told my brother about it out of the hearing of his wife because she's a city girl and a scaredy cat. Okay, he's a city boy too, but he's different. All he did was grunt because he, I know, has seen similar things and probably much more frequent because he goes out. He used to go out on the land, as they say, very early in the morning. He doesn't anymore, but he stays out quite late and he prays all the time while he's out on the property because a lot of it is wild still, and he's a farmer. Don't dismiss things that you don't know about just because you haven't had the experience or never had the experience. There are so many things out there that we don't know, don't see, cannot explain. Heard that? You heard that? You heard that? That was just to emphasize what I'm telling you. So, on this Day of the Dead, remember your ancestors. Hear that? Remember your ancestors. You are standing on their shoulders. You, beautiful soul, are reaping the benefits of the pain that your ancestors endured in order for you to enjoy what you are enjoying today. Believe that. And on that note, beautiful souls, I'm going to say ciao.